Welcome to Quick Bite, your fast and friendly Florida insurance update.
Hello. This is Roshonda, agency owner of the Isom Insurance Group, right here in the Sunshine State of Florida, welcoming you back to another Quick Bite episode, your fast and informative insurance market update. Today is Friday, January the 16th, 2026. It's Friday, and that means it's Free Friday. And if you're new here, Free Friday episodes are where I take a real question that I've been asked by clients, prospects, or honestly, people in the grocery store line and break it down clearly, honestly, and without the sales pitch. And today's question is everywhere right now. I've heard it in emails, I've heard it on phone calls, I've heard it whispered like a rumor. If PIP gets repealed, is my auto insurance going up or down? And the short answer is depends. I know everyone hates that answer, but today I'm going to explain why that's the only honest answer. What could actually happen if PIP is repealed, and what Florida drivers should really be prepared for, not panicking about. Let's talk about it. The question didn't come out of nowhere. Earlier this week, Florida's 2026 legislative session officially kicked off in Tallahassee through the Florida Legislature. And once again, lawmakers are debating whether to repeal Florida's personal injury protection cover or PIP system. If you watched Wednesday's Quick Bite, you already know bills are filed, committees are meeting, and headlines are starting. And whenever PIP repeal comes up, someone always promises premiums will go down. And whenever people hear that, they think, great, my bill's about to drop. But that's not how insurance works. Before we talk about repeal, we have to understand what PIP does today. Right now, Florida drivers are required to carry $10,000 in PIP coverage, $10,000 in property damage liability coverage. Those are the bare minimums. I do not recommend you carry just those bare minimums, but those are the bare minimum requirements. PIP pays your medical bills, your passengers' medical bills, lost wages, regardless of who caused the accident. Again, this is considered a no-fault system, but like I've said in a lot of previous videos, no fault does not mean that there is actually nobody at fault for the accident. There still can be somebody liable, but what PIP does is you go through your own policy first, no matter who's at fault. You don't have to wait for the other carrier. You can go ahead and get your medical treatment, go ahead and get on the path of recovery, and just go. You have to go through your no-fault coverage first. That means faster access to care, fewer lawsuits for minor injuries, lower thresholds before attorneys get involved. Is PIP perfect? Absolutely not. Does it have fraud problems? Of course. But it does serve a specific purpose in Florida's auto system. If PIP is repealed, the current proposal would replace it with mandatory bodily injury liability coverage. The most discussed limits are $25,000 per person, $50,000 per accident. And like I discussed in my prior video, I was an agent in Georgia, and those are the minimum coverage requirements in Georgia, and they do not have no fault coverage. This sounds reasonable, right? But here's the key difference. Bodily injury protection protects other people, yes, and it protects your assets. It does not automatically protect, it doesn't pay your medical bills. It's always for the other person. So if PIP goes away, your own injuries may rely on health insurance. Deductibles come into play. Medical networks matter. Claims may take longer. That's a major system shift. Now let's answer the big question. For some drivers, premiums could go down. If you already carry bodily injury liability coverage, you have strong health insurance, you've had a clean driving record, you may be paying for overlapping protections now. If for other drivers, premiums will likely go up if you currently carry minimum limits. Remember, minimum limits you don't even have to carry bodily injury liability coverage in Florida. And that's been a big issue. A lot of agents sitting in our seat and even claims have a problem with, because you don't have to have bodily injury liability coverage, but everyone really should have it because it protects your assets. So someone can hit you, not have that coverage, and now it's all on your insurance company to cover your medical bills. Of course, you have your no fault coverage. Hopefully you have some uninsured motorist coverage that will pay your medical expenses and your pain and suffering, because that other driver just has the state minimum and does not have bodily injury liability coverage. Also, if you don't have strong health insurance, this can really, your premiums may go up. You have youthful drivers or prior claims. Mandatory bodily injury introduces higher risk exposure, higher claim severity, more litigation potential, and insurance prices reflect risk, not fairness. Okay, I can kind of give a real life spin on this because, like I said, I was an agent in Georgia for 5 years. Um, Georgia rates were a lot less expensive than Florida when it came to auto insurance. And they are, again, they do not require, they're not a no fault state, so they don't require PIP. And their minimum bodily injury limits are $25,000 per person, $50,000 per occurrence. But Florida's very litigious. Georgia really wasn't that big of a litigious state as much as Florida is. So I don't know how that will play out in rates, because Florida is a different different vibe here, like versus Georgia. A lot of people get in small accidents and they go hire an attorney and they're ready to sue. That really didn't really happen a lot in Georgia, from what I could see when I was there. This is where history matters. In 2021, a PIP repeal bill passed, but it was vetoed. One of the biggest concerns was premium shock. So the biggest concern was that premiums were going to skyrocket. Lawmakers were worried that people wouldn't understand the new requirements, policies would be underinsured, rates would spike unexpectedly. I disagree with policies would be underinsured, because right now you don't have a bodily injury requirement. So a lot of people are already underinsured. That's why the current proposals are looking at longer transition periods, not instant changes. They're trying to avoid chaos. Here's the most important part of today's episode. Nothing has changed. I repeat, nothing has changed as of the recording of this video. PIP is still required. BI, bodily injury coverage, is still optional. No new mandates took effect January the 1st, 2026. So what should you do? Review your current auto insurance policy. Understand what protections you already have. Stop assuming cheapest equals best. Be proactive, not reactive. Insurance changes don't hurt people who plan ahead. They hurt people who wait. Here's the honest truth. If PIP gets repealed, some people will save money. Some people will pay more. Everyone will need to understand their coverage better. There's no universal outcome. And anyone promising you one is oversimplifying something that deserves clarity. So if today's Free Friday episode helped clear up some of the noise around PIP coverage repeal and auto insurance costs, now is a great time to review your policy and make sure you actually understand what protections you have. To do so, please feel free to visit our website, which is right below this video. You can request a quote or just a policy review. Not what you think you have, what you truly have is what is important. If you found this episode helpful, please like this video, share it with your friends and family, and drop comments below with any questions you have or any topics that you would like for me to cover in any future episodes. Remember, Quick Bite episodes drop every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And this video is for educational purposes only and should not be taken as tax, legal, or specific insurance advice. please consult a licensed insurance professional about your unique situation. And this again is Roshonda with the Isom Insurance Group here in sunny Florida. Thank you for watching. Please stay safe out there, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you for watching. Visit us at isominsurancegroup.com.